we have got signal
all
issues,
about.
and
First of
well, definitely the visuals are not coming through very clear at this point in time. Possibly it had got to do with signal strength, or even possibly even it's got to do with technology that is being used to try and block signals. Okay, we can see you clearly now, brother Tariq, once again.
am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. You can talk.
Okay. Before going to the details of the protest, let me take you to the background. What is this protest all about? When the entire nation was under lockdown during COVID positive, the Union Government of India uh, brought three ordinances in the name of agricultural reform, and which was later, when the parliament went into session, which was later passed by the parliament in very shady manner. So the BJP, the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party, which is ruling the country, has majority in lower house of Indian Parliament. So the three ordinance were passed
Yes, I think we are having problems, and possibly we may have to switch to audio mode at this point in time. And as Tariq has mentioned, that there are a number of issues that the Indian government has in terms of past legislation, and one of them being to deregulate the sale of crops, allowing private buyers more free access into the market that. Has long been dominated by government subsidies. And what farmers are saying, that the reforms to the laws that have protected them for a very, very long time will now put them at risk of losing their businesses. And and also at the end of the day, it is the big corporations, it is the multinationals, and it is the big businesses who are likely to benefit from these laws to deregulate the sale of crops. So we will try and get hold of. We have got Tariq Anwar once again, but this time around on audio. Tariq, you can continue.
yes, yes. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible now. You can continue.
Okay. So, before going into the details of the protest, let me tell you the background of the protest. During the COVID pandemic, which is still going on, the entire country was under lockdown, and during that time, the government of India brought three ordinances because in the name of agricultural reform, and later that ordinances were placed in the parliament, both houses of parliament, and passed in a steady manner. First of all, there are two houses of Indian parliament. The first one is House of Representatives, which is called Lok Sabha, and the second one is upper house, which is called Raj Sabha. So the ruling BJP here has a majority in lower house of Indian parliament, which is called Lok Sabha. So they got the three bills passed very easily from Lok Sabha. But it had to go through the scrutiny of Raj Sabha, where the BJP, means the ruling party, doesn't have majority. So the three bills then was brought on the floor of Raj Sabha. It was passed through voice vote, and which should not be the process. The opposition demanded division. Division means voting, registered voting, which the speaker didn't allow, and the three bills were passed and made into an act. The three bills are extremely, farmers say they are not in their favor. They are in favor of big corporates. The three acts, the three bills which is now laws, proper laws, are called Farmers Produce and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act. Second one is Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Prices Assurance and Farmer Services Act. And the third is Essential Commodities Amendment Act. After the three bills took the shape of act, protests started taking across the country. Farmers took to the streets. They were opposing. They are still opposing the three laws. Their worry is that after the enactment of these three laws, the entire farm sector in India will go into in the hand of big corporates like Ambani's and Adani's, big corporate houses of the country. The first act, which is Farm Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act. In this, there is a system of sell and purchase of agriculture produce in India. So the system is when after any harvesting, the government announces a rate, a price which is called minimum support price of a particular crop. Like during paddy season, when harvesting happens, the agricultural produce goes to the market and for selling. So at the time, the government announces a rate on which the those who are there in the market to purchase that product are supposed to purchase that farm produce on that particular rate, the particular price, and that price is called minimum support price (MSP). So MSP system is there in this country for a long time. But unfortunately, what happens, only 6 to 7% farmers across the country are able to sell their farm produces on MSP, despite MSP being there for a long time. Secondly, another system of purchasing and selling the farm produces is the government has in the market, the government purchases the farm produce on that MSP, and the government market is called APMC, Agricultural Produce Market Companies. It is government-owned companies which purchase farm produce on the MSP. So after the enactment of Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act, the farmers in this country fear that the APMC mandis, which purchase their farm produces, will be abolished, because this particular law has opened a way for private players to enter the market and purchase farmers' produce at the price of their own choice, not at the price which has been fixed by the government. So the government's argument is that don't worry, MSP is there, but the farmers are saying that we are you are so worried about farmers and you want to bring agricultural reforms in the country, make MSP a part of the regulation, a part of the act. It means if government regular ways, if the government makes MSP a rule or brings MSP as part of the rule, that whosoever comes in the market and goes to purchase farmers' produce, he has to buy that product on the rate, on the prices fixed by the government. If he doesn't do so, there will be provision of punishment, and the farmer can drag that particular player into the court of law. So the farmers demand that MSP should part of the legislation. Because the MSP is there in India for a long time, but the government always fail to purchase the farmers' produce on that MSP. So this is the first worry of the farmers. The government said we relented initially when the farmers were protesting. They tried to enter Delhi to a state protest. They were stopped by the police forces at Delhi border with uh, uh, water cannons, tear gas shells, and baton charge. The farmers said, we want enter Delhi, but we block all the highways to Delhi. So at present, three major highways uh, are blocked by the farmers in Delhi. So they are staging protests at Singhu border, which connects Delhi to Haryana and Punjab. They have blocked the Tikri border, blocked Rajipur border. So all these highways are very important, and the main supply line of Delhi, which has been blocked for several days. It's 14th day today, and since the last 14 days, these borders are closed. So first part of the farmers' protest is this, which I explained. The second is Farmers Empowerment and Protection Act on price assurance and farm services. So the second thing, can you imagine in a democratic nation, uh, uh, a clause of a law says you yourself decide. In a democratic nation, a clause of a law states that no suit, I quote, no suit, no prosecution or other legal proceedings shall lie against the central government or the state government or any other officer of the central government or any other officer of the state government or any person, read corporate, read in bracket, I'm saying read corporate, any other person can be derived as corporate in respect of anything which is in good faith or intended to be done in good faith. Under this act, and no civil court shall have jurisdiction to entertain any suit or proceedings in respect of any matter connected to the actions under this law. So this is a clause. You yourself can judge what kind of clause is this. The farmers don't have any right, means they have been taken away all the legal resources. If the corporate or any private player tries to exploit them, they don't have any legal resource because the government's own act says that the person or the government or the
I think we seem to have lost Tarique Anwar there for some reason or the other. And obviously, talking about why the farmers have been resistant to the reforms in India and how widespread the protests are. And the key issue here is what is likely to happen next. And talking about the three major entrances or the links into Delhi that have been blocked for the last 2 weeks. And clearly, a situation has been met by police, by heavy handed police action. He's talking about water cannons, about tear gas. And this is something that is not going to go away because we know agriculture, farming, major, it is huge, it's massive in India. And we'll try and get hold of Tarique Anwar once again. But right now, we're going for a break.
Osman's Taj Mahal